Hello, my lovelies, and here we are. It's a little Sunday live, or not quite so little Sunday live, for us to talk about some issues that we might have with fluidity in our lives, or just really generally explore planning, fluidity, things like that. So anyway, we're just gonna take a minute or two to see who might be joining us here. Now, let me tell you, we are having the most amazing weekend in DC. DC's August weather is, well, hideous. It's known as being absolutely hideous. Very hot, very humid. You don't tend to want to stay outside for very long. But this weekend, oh, it's just lovely. And I was considering doing the live outside, but I didn't want, strange intrusions. So, I've been thinking a lot about fluidity and plans in life recently. And I've written a blog post on it, which you can find on my website, New Landscape Yoga. I'm at Tonya from New Landscape Yoga. And looks like someone might have joined us. Hello, say hello. And I have been thinking a lot about fluidity and kind of having to be open to going with the flow of life and not trying to, really control things. And that's happened because, as I said in my blog post, I've recently been clearing out Mum's flat in London. I was over there from DC where I live for 2 weeks. That's it. And believe me when I tell you that there was a lot of things in this flat and a lot of furniture too. Oh, bonkers. Originally I wanted to do it in 3 weeks, but turned out 2 weeks was going to be the thing. I was doing Brett Larkin's 40-day career at the time, and that really helped me just sort of keep my equanimity with the vicissitudes of getting everything out the door in London. Now, I had some amazing help, including some help before I got over there, so that I could have it was a recce and I could know what I was facing. And I knew what I was facing. What a huge help. I couldn't really have that much of a plan if they don't do estate sales in the UK. So the short and long of it anyway is that I just had to be open each day to what I might be able to find out, how I might be able to move ahead, and have faith that it would all get done. And it did. And I didn't get overly stressed when it looked like things weren't going to work out. And I actually had quite a bit of fun too, catching up with friends and things like that. So, here's the thing, isn't it? We're taught to be planners, we're taught to have a goal in life. And obviously we can't just sort of sail through life, not really guiding ourselves, but guided by the prevailing winds. I mean, that's no way to live either. But I think we might have lost sight of a bit of balance here in trying to control our lives and rigidly moving from point A and point B, and that we should be here now. It can lead to a bit of tunnel vision. It's interesting because when I was younger, I was terribly go with the flow. I really just sallied forth in life, confident that it would be good and interesting and it would work out. And it did. Yeah, in a lot of respects, I was extremely lucky that it did. Now, let me give you a sort of a little example. When I was doing my master's in history, that was in the UK at Oxford, I was going to a conference in Florence, well, actually just outside Florence in Fiesole. And I was out of town for a few days before I was going to the conference. And I remember getting up at the crack of dawn, taking the train to Stansted Airport to get the flight to Florence. And I was on the flight, and I had no idea how I was going to get to where I was staying. Now, where I was staying is another little interesting story because I was sort of an impecunious, poor grad student, and my father's colleague, who was Italian, had arranged for me to stay in a convent. Very little money, and I don't speak Italian, but he'd arranged that for me. He'd phoned up and taken care of it. This is in the 90s, 93 or so, phoning. That was the thing. So I didn't really have a piece of paper that I was staying there. I was on this plane. I didn't even know how I was going to get there. But I wasn't worried. I look back on this and I think, gosh, what a way to go back then. But it worked out really well. There was this English chap next to me, and turns out he lived in Florence. And he said, it's great where you're staying. It's great. It's on the direct bus route from Florence to Fiesole, which is just outside Florence. You can just hop on the bus to the conference. Brilliant. He said, oh, and when we get in, we'll travel in from the airport together. And there's some weird thing where you have to buy your bus tickets at the tabak, and I'll walk you through it and show you the bus. There it all worked out. I got to the convent. Everything worked out just fine. I had a very nice time in Florence. Now, admittedly, I didn't get to see that much of Florence. But that's a whole other story, isn't it? So I look at that and I think, gosh, that was a bit insane. But then somehow I became this planner. I'm known as a planner. I like to have things organized. I like to know what's happening when. I have been known to be a bit uncomfortable when, things aren't working out as agreed in the way they should. And I've been thinking, I need to get back to a little more fluidity. Because I do think that we have to be open in our lives. What do I mean by that? If we're really focused on this goal, if we've got our steps mapped out, okay, A, B, C, how to get to this goal, whatever it is. A degree, a job, marriage. We can end up having this tunnel vision. We don't see things around us. We're not open to opportunities. And we can be sort of closed-minded to going in the wrong direction, perhaps. And it's getting that balance, right? Isn't it? And it's hard. It's hard to do. I think in our society, we really veer towards being really focused. So I think in our society, where we need to try and get at the balance is getting a bit more fluid. Now, how to do this? It's not always easy. I strongly believe that having the space, quiet, and that can be in your yoga asana, as you move through your yoga practice, definitely in meditation. It can be in journaling. I was doing Brett Larkin's 40-day Kriya, and at some point during this, I'm doing this hour Kriya every day. It's the same practice, hour. Shifting energy, that's the idea. And at some point in this, she transitions to powers. You can see what she's doing. She's doing the practice with you. She stopped talking. Oh my goodness. It was another spiritual plane. Total quiet. These long holds. It's pretty heavy juicy, let me tell you. Whew. And it's not easy. And you've got that quiet in the meditation. You're writing your things down. It's uncomfortable. You've got all this voice in your head. There's like a beehive going on. And you're not quite sure what to make of these voices. How much validity to give them. You've got to sit with them. But have that quiet so you can hear them. And that makes such a difference. And Brett said this really interesting thing too. She said, sometimes you're actually going to want to listen to one of these voices at the forefront of your mind. And other times, send it to the back of the queue. It's that discernment too. Being able to tap into who you are so that you feel that confidence. And that's not easy. Oh, it's not easy. Now I have got a nice meditation. It's really very, very pleasant. It's a few minutes meditation on getting comfortable with fluidity. It's a guided meditation. And it leads you through how to connect to yourself in a way that helps you just be a bit more open. And I mean, that's the start, that's the goal, really. To feel confident that you have the power to step forward well. That yes, you might have something that you have to do, like clear out a flat in London. Yes, you're brainstorming and thinking with people, and that's the whole point. That your plans might come together, but perhaps you can't really have an A, a B, and a C, and a D, and the time you're going to do it, which I can. But I was open. I asked for help. That's the other thing. It's talking to people as well. Just being open to different perspectives. And I just had to get up every day with the faith that I was going to make progress. If I didn't, it would be okay. Because progress would come and I would get everything done that I needed to get done. And I think that's what's important. We get this this sort of freeze in our mind, like, yeah, I've got to do this and do it this way. And it'll be a disappointment if we don't get on with whatever it is. And we beat ourselves up. And in the end, it doesn't serve us. What serves us is looking at the situation, having an idea of how we're going to navigate it, just being open to what might come next, and to that very important feeling that we can get through this well, can navigate it, and it will all work out. It's interesting. I want to close with this. It's interesting because I think this is not new. It's been around for a very long time. Julian of Norwich, he had this this prayer. In some ways, I think you could call it a mantra. It's all connected, isn't it? And it goes, all will be well, all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. Now, I failed to double check when Julian of Norwich lived. It was back in the Middle Ages. I mean, centuries and centuries and centuries ago. So think on that. We helped create this energy in ourselves. So that's something I like to think when I'm feeling stressed, like, how is it all going to work out? All will be well. All will be well. And all manners of things will be well. Take that with you into life. Thank you for joining me today.